So now what we're going to do is actually show you a little bit of these capabilities in action. And for this demo, I'm going to play the role of a marketing global campaign manager, and Mark is going to play the role of IT. And so basically what we have here is that we're going to be running some campaigns around Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And we want to be leveraging personalization to improve our marketing campaigns. We've actually, as a company at Acme Fashion, decided that a key strategy for us is being able to be more customer-centric, to understand our customers so that we can tailor every aspect of our business and the service we deliver to these companies. And we see this as a very common use case around the world. And so we think that in this case, what we want to do is with these campaigns, we want to be targeting a shoe campaign to the right customers for the right products based on their interests and their shoe sizes and all the information that we know around them. And unfortunately, as is so often the case, this is something we need to do yesterday. We want it to be launched in just 2 weeks. And so, when I go to Mark, his concerns are going to be around time to market. You think we can get this done that fast? What about data quality issues? Let's make sure we're not breaking any of our compliance policies. And really, how are we going to get this done? How is IT and business going to work to get this done in a timely fashion? And so in the actual demo itself, what we're going to do is walk you through a process where I, as the global marketing campaign manager, can take opt-in data that we're getting from a third party and actually go through the process of getting that data into a usable format so that it can be merged with data from our CRM system, Salesforce, as well as social media data from Twitter. Then Mark will actually do the process of merging that information together. So I'll be doing the data preparation piece of it, and then Mark will be doing the merging of those data sources together. Once all that data is put together, we're going to use the data stewardship application to curate that data to make sure that we address any exceptions that have come along. And then we're going to finish off with using a Spark machine learning algorithm to actually recommend what campaign, what offer we should be making to each of these customers. So this is truly an end-to-end process, very much a tight partnership with business and IT. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mark.
Well, thanks as usual, Ashley. You really want an 8-week project done in 2 weeks? Is that what you're asking here?
Well, that's why we pay you the big bucks, Mark. I know you can do it.
Oh, maybe I need a raise. Don't forget, some of this data has some European connections too, so we have to get that compliance data in so we can be adhere to the mandate around the global data protection regulations. Maybe you've heard of it, the GDPR Act. It's mandatory, and our new compliance officer insists that we have this opt-in data as part of all of our campaigns, especially around the big holiday shopping season. So we got to do that, and if you may remember, you outsource that data to a third party to capture the opt-in, opt-out, and that data, as you mentioned in the overview, comes in a spreadsheet. Is maybe not the best shape, so I need your help to clean that up. All right?
Yeah, no problem.
So we got some new tools in that you actually can help me do a lot of the work. So let's get started. So you talked about the data preparation tool from Talend. This is the login. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get logged in and take a look at that file. And do not email it to me, okay? Because again, it has PII information in it, and we can't be sending that around in our emails. So don't send any spreadsheets. It's already out in the data lake on the Hadoop system, so we'll go ahead and pull that in. So we have a user here for you, Ashley, as you can see. And we're going to go ahead and just create a new preparation by clicking on the Create Preparation, and we're going to select the marketing data from US, and that pulls in the data into what's the preparation view. As you can see, Ashley, this looks very much like a spreadsheet, which you guys in marketing are very familiar with, are the spreadsheets. So that's why we think this tool is going to be great for you, especially because it's a very look and feel like that you're used to. It has a lot of great advantages, though. If you look up up here across the top, you have the names of the columns in the spreadsheet, but it also has using some semantic dictionaries to determine, hey, these columns look like first name, last name. This may have picked a wrong dictionary off the top, so you can easily go in and pick a new one. We customized one and built one called name prefixes. We'll talk about this menu over here in a minute when we get a little closer to the end. But so now you can see that the green bar here shows that everything fits our name prefix dictionary that we've created for our company. You can see it has some green, which means good. White means there's some missing records. And then orange are the possibly invalid records that maybe you need to take a look at. So the first thing we want to do is filter the data, though, because I think you only want to go, you only want to market the people that have opted in, correct?
That's right. Yep.
All right. So if you highlight the opt-in like you have down here, yeah, you see at the chart, you can see how many yes, nos. You can also click on one of the bar charts, yep, and it will go ahead and pick or filter on that. Now, we want this filter to apply to everything that we do going forward in this tool. So we don't want to look at any of the opt-out records. So there's functions, yeah, over on the right that will apply these rules to everything as you go. So the filter up here was just a filter in the view. Now we've clicked on that function, and then it'll keep all your opt-in data going forward. All right. So if you just start looking at the data, I can see your last name has some white spaces. Yeah, Doris and Fields. So if you highlight that, again, the functions over here on the right will come up with some recommended functions that maybe look good for this particular field. So I can see right here, remove white spaces and trailing. So excellent. So now you've cleaned up the blanks that have been put around the name itself. So that's great. That'll help because I'm going to use the name in our matching process later on. So what else do you want to fix in here? I think.
Yeah, those zip codes look like they could use some work.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? It looks like maybe somebody opened this spreadsheet or opened this in Excel. The reason I say that is because all the East Coast states seem to have leading zeros has been removed. I don't know anybody in marketing that would do that, right?
Yeah, that might have been me.
Very common problem with spreadsheets and CSV files. Before it got put on the data lake, it appears somebody opened it. But there's a really nice function in here that I think you guys will like. If it's just adding characters, which is what we want to do. We want to put a 0 back in the front on the left of the numbers, and we want to make sure it's only 1 or it has 5. So if we submit that function, it's going to go ahead and fix that. And now you can take the filter off up here, and we'll see that all the zip codes look good. I believe you said the call center is going to be maybe calling these people as well, so maybe.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe we should fix the phone numbers. At least have them formatted the same way. So you can type up here and find the phone numbers as well. Most of this data is US data. You can pick different countries if you want, but we're going to standardize it so it's a little easier for them to read. We're not going to remove or do anything with the invalid phone numbers. I think you want to just leave those records in there. It might help us match even if they're wrong. It might help us identify some possible right phone numbers. And the last thing, I think, did you mention something about business regions?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'd be really helpful if we had business regions in here. Then we can route each of these leads to the right salesperson for follow-up.
All right. Up top there's some rings hooked together. If you click on those, that gives you the ability to select different data sets to bring in or enhance, enrich the data sets with other data sets. We're going to just select the business unit ones here that I've already preloaded for you guys in marketing. And it's going to join on the state code, which I don't have joined in there. So you just select the state code, yep, and then click Add this particular column to the data set. There's other fields that you could add, but we're just going to add the region. And hit confirm. Now you've added another column to your data set. So I think everything looks good now. Is there anything else you need done in this?
I think that looks pretty cool. I mean, the thing that I love about this is that you can actually go column by column through this whole thing, and the little bars at the top with the green and the white and the orange really help a business person walk step by step through this and get every column into the format that they want. And it's really nice that you can enrich the data with, from additional data sources. You put in sales regions, but it could have been, say, Dun& Bradstreet profile data or other things like that. This is a really powerful tool, clearly built for somebody like me, a business person. So I can't wait to do this myself next time.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for you to start using it too, so you don't have to keep calling me all the time. So one last thing over here on the left, you can see there's a lot of, these are all the steps we took to cleanse the data. It keeps track of everything. You can remove steps if you decide you don't want to do certain things or not. So it's very pretty intuitive to use again and understand exactly what you've done to your data. And then when you're done, you can save it. You can export the data out to different sources, but I wouldn't, again, this is PII data, so let's just leave the preparation where it is and save it. And once it's ready, we can move it into the IT Ready folder by copying it over there. So this is the one we just made. And once you have that copied over, whoops, oh, already exists in that folder, whoops. So anyway, once that's copied into the IT folder, we can then go into the studio, which is where...
Yeah, so just one quick point there, Mark.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a really powerful point around that whole, if you could just go back to the data preparation for a minute and show the preparation steps themselves.
Oh, the steps? Sure.
Yeah. So basically what you're doing is essentially building a recipe or a set of rules that are going to get applied to every single transaction. And typically what somebody would do in a situation like this is actually work with a subset of the data. Let's say there were millions of rows. They'd build the rules on a subset of those, and then you can actually go ahead and run that as a business person right here, or you can hand off this recipe, this data preparation recipe, to somebody in IT who can then embed it into a data integration job, which is what Mark's going to show you next. And so it's very powerful how reusable all this work is.
Absolutely, and in this new release, we can also run the preparation on the full data set in a Hadoop cluster with Spark as well. So there's two ways to run, on full data sets. So, but yeah, you're right. What I'm going to show you next, because I have to do some other matching and merging of other data sources, I'm going to show you how you can use this preparation directly in the Talent Studio and on the regular data integration platform and big data.
Great.
All right. All right, so this is the Talent Studio. It's the developer tool here in IT that we prefer. And no, don't be afraid, Ashley. I'm not going to make you learn how to use this particular tool. This is really geared towards our developers here, and it's a very powerful tool, and we love using it because you can do a lot of things with it. So let me just kind of show you what this particular process is doing. So as you mentioned at the beginning of the demonstration, we're going to merge several data sources together. So I have our Salesforce customer data coming from the CRM, which is our Salesforce account, and then I also am pulling in, we have a new set of social media profiles, mostly Twitter, but there's other profiles like LinkedIn and stuff. But so we're pulling those profile information in that has name and the email address associated to that Twitter account that we're getting from another third party, as well as the opt-in data that you just walked me through cleaning. And this component here is the component that you were just mentioning, how I can use the preparation that we just created and shared with IT that has all the steps needed to clean that third-party opt-in data, and then we're joining it all together and doing a match using this simple matching component to match the different data sets together, the customers and the records across these three sources, and to build one unique customer view of the customer and send that out. All the matches are going to go out to the Spark machine learning input, so the recommendation engine that your data scientist is working on that we built in Talent a couple weeks ago for you in IT. So we built that up. Now we're just feeding data to it for your data scientists to run their algorithms and test it. The one thing I'm going to need your help on, though, is this here, the data stewardship component is the data that I can't match with 100% confidence, or whatever my confidence rate that I put in the matching is. It's not close enough, so I need your help to run, to review this data. So when we run this, it's going to do the matching. We'll see the data going out to Spark, and we'll see the data going to this data stewardship. So let's go ahead and run that. And we'll see the records going out to the system. So yeah, it looks like just right here, right away, I can tell that we do have some records for you to review. And that's where we go to our next process in the flow, is the talent data stewardship, where you can, you, the IT, or you, the business, I'm the IT, sorry, you, the business, you can go in and fix these records without my assistance. So let's go back to the browser.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
before we do that, we're getting a number of questions around where does the data reside, particularly when you're doing the data prep work, like where does it come from and where does it go? Can you just talk a little bit about that since you've got the screen up?
Yeah, sure. So the data prep, or the data itself that's going through this particular flow, could reside on the HDFS file system directly, or any Hadoop system such as S3 that can feed the data into the preparation. The preparation is, again, just a list of scripts that are run either through the preparation server itself, or you could also push those preparation scripts out to a Spark process in your Hadoop cluster. So you could leave the data on the Hadoop cluster the entire time, and this whole process could be running potentially in a Hadoop environment on Spark as well. So so you don't necessarily have to have the data leave the cluster. It all depends on the situation, the scenario. You can have it run through our regular runtime applications, or you could have it run on your cluster directly.
Great.
All right. Now, the data that goes to the stewardship app is being stored in the data stewardship app itself, but that's the one exception in this case of where the data is running from, and is residing. So let's log into that application quick. Oops. So again, we've created a user for you on this particular application called Talent Data Stewardship, and this is the application we're going to use going forward to have you help us resolve any type of data issues that you have in anywhere in your data processing, whether it's your data warehouse where we need your help doing arbitration of or fixing particular issues around data sets, or data that has maybe addresses need to be resolved and things like that. We can now assign these to you through this tool. And there's what's called campaigns, or they're like a workflow of processes. So we assign those tasks here on the Cyber Monday campaign for you. And if you go in, as soon as you go in and see the application, it looks very much like the data preparation tool, doesn't it? It's got the whole Excel look and feel, rows and columns for you. It has a very similar titles across the top with the semantic analysis, or the dictionaries that have been defined. These are defined on a model, though, for this particular campaign. It's a little different than on the data prep, where it's trying to find it for you. So we've already identified that the types that we want for each one of these fields in this particular workflow. So let's go and start resolving these records, as we would say. So to see everything, you just expand the record, and this top row is what we would call the master record, or the golden record, that's going to move on once you validate it. I can see that I have an issue here, or I should say you guys have an issue with the data in your CRM system. And I know it's the CRM because it's got rules. I've put rules in place to state that I want our CRM to be the trusted source. So anytime there's a value in one of these from our CRM, it's going to go into the master record. But I see that the marketing company has a better email, or a correct email, for this particular user. So should we take that one, Ashley?
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell that that's the right one.
Yeah, and now my red bar went away, so it looks like we're good. I think we can probably lock this record, which means once it's locked, you've reviewed it and it's ready to be validated and moved on in the process. We'll just go through these other ones fairly quickly. It looks like this is a pretty straightforward one. The phone number picked here was from the CRM, and I think we'll trust that one, don't you think? It's probably good.
Okay.
This one's interesting. It's got a Twitter. We found a match on the Twitter data that came in, and it's in our CRM. The big difference I see here, I think, is the first name. It looks like our CRM has the first name wrong because both the marketing data and the Twitter have it spelled this way. So let's take it from the marketing data, and we'll go ahead and process that. This last record, it's interesting. It's got the master record across the top here, but it's got information from all over the place. I have the Twitter, I have a phone number from the marketing, and then the address from our CRM and stuff is being pulled through. So that one looks good. We'll go ahead and lock it. They've all been reviewed, and you've checked them all, so we'll go ahead and validate your choices. And it lets you know that 100% of the data has been validated. Now, I think I mentioned earlier when we first got started, we have a compliance officer, and that compliance officer has assigned a compliance stewardship to approve everything you do in your department, Ashley. I don't think it's anything against your marketing department. I think they just want to make sure that nothing gets through the cracks here. So,
It needs to be Jackie, Mark.
oh, did I? Oh, yeah. Thank you. So Jackie is our compliance officer. I'm going to log in for her, and you can see she has different features, which is being able to build new campaigns for new compliance or whatever type of data resolutions that she needs. But she also has the ability to resolve tasks, and here's the Cyber Monday tasks. And she can go in and review every record and see the choices that you made. She can see that you picked the email address from the marketing third-party data source, but it's very clear that that was correct. So she could go ahead and validate or accept or reject each one of these records one at a time, or she can do mass groupings of them if she wants and do mass accept or rejects. If she rejects it, it's a traditional workflow. It's going to go back to you, Ashley, and you're going to have to fix them. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and accept and validate all of your choices, and compliance is okay with that. And now all these records will go out to the data lake, back into the data lake using another data integration job, and feed into your recommendation engine for to be queued up for the next best recommendation that the product offers. Any questions, Ashley, on how this process works? What do you think of the new tools and how we can work together now?
Yeah, that's great because there's always those exceptions that end up ruining your whole data set and getting me into trouble with somebody. I hate it when we send an email to somebody who has already opted out, for example. So this is going to fix those things. Also, just to pause here for a second and step out of role, you look at what's being accomplished here with this. I mean, we're allowing the business to help prepare new data that's coming along. IT is then merging that with CRM and social media data. Then there's a data curation step where, again, the partnership between business and IT comes into play. And then we're actually leveraging machine learning to put out intelligent offer recommendations. I mean, this is a really powerful set of capabilities that show how big data can really be transformational in terms of how you run the business and how you deliver tailored marketing campaigns.
Yeah, definitely. And having those tools that IT and business can collaborate is also just a huge benefit to speed the whole process up, to take it from that 8 weeks that I normally would need to the 2 weeks. So, all right. Anything else, Ashley?
Nope.
All right.
Looks great. Can't wait for that campaign to roll out.
I bet.
Great. So, just in summary, what you saw here is, to me, the most important thing here is if you think about most companies that are trying to become data-driven, if you're relying on a relatively small IT team and a few data analysts and data scientists to turn an entire company into a data-driven organization, it's simply never going to happen. And so breaking down the walls, allowing more people to participate, allowing the people who know the data and the business objectives to be involved in the process makes everything go faster. And so from a business perspective, you're actually able to deliver those results. It actually improves the business performance. And you see that there's a lot of productivity tools that help the business person too. I mean, it's in terms of getting that data into a clean format, having a point and click interface that does it takes a job that might have taken somebody in operations hours and cuts it down into minutes. And then from Mark's perspective, from the IT perspective, because he's able to partner in a new way with the business, he doesn't have to worry about things like data quality the same way he had to before, because he's not the expert in that data. That shouldn't be part of his job. And so it offloads work from him and makes the whole process go better. And then finally, from a risk and compliance perspective, keeping it all inside a governed system with a clear set of processes for how you manage that data, who has access, and that it's actually going through all the appropriate steps, is a real improvement. And if you see regulations, Mark mentioned the Global Data Protection Act that's in GDPR that's been enacted in Europe. There are massive fines if you're violating customers' data privacy. And so being able to address those things is just becoming more and more important globally as well.